Have you ever felt like you're just treading water, trying to keep your head above the surface, but the current of life keeps pulling you under? It's a feeling we all know, that sense of exhaustion when it feels like nothing you do makes a difference. Today, I want to share a story that might just change how you see those moments. It's a tale about two brothers, a bucket of milk, and the incredible power of never giving up. Once upon a time, in a lush green meadow, lived two frog brothers. One was big and strong, the other small but full of spirit. They were inseparable, spending their days exploring the world, leaping from lily pad to lily pad. Their bond was as deep as the pond they called home. One sunny afternoon, their adventurous spirits got the better of them. They spotted a tall, mysterious bucket standing near the farmer's barn. What could be inside? A new pond, a treasure trove of delicious flies. Curiosity took over, and, with a coordinated leap, they launched themselves over the rim. Splash! They landed not in water, but in something thick, white, and creamy. It was milk, fresh from the cow. At first, it was a fun surprise, a milky new swimming pool. They paddled around, laughing. But when they tried to leap out, they realized their mistake. The walls were too high, and the creamy liquid offered no grip. They were trapped. Panic began to set in. They swam frantically, their little legs kicking against the thick milk, trying to find a way out. They circled the bucket, pushing against the smooth, slippery walls, but it was no use. The minutes turned into an hour, and then another. The sun beat down, and their muscles began to ache. The initial fun had turned into a desperate struggle for survival. The larger frog, who had always been the stronger of the two, was the first to feel his energy wane. He panted, his powerful kicks growing weaker. "Brother," he sighed, his voice heavy with despair, "it's pointless. We can't get out. The walls are too high, and this milk, it's too thick. We're just tiring ourselves out for nothing." The smaller frog, though just as exhausted, refused to listen. He looked at his brother, his eyes wide with determination. "No, don't say that. We have to keep swimming. We just have to keep kicking. As long as we're moving, we're alive. We can't lose hope." But the hours of fruitless struggle had taken their toll on the big frog's spirit. The hope that had once burned bright in his eyes flickered and died. He saw only the smooth, inescapable walls and the endless, creamy prison. "I can't," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "I'm so tired. What's the point? We are going to drown anyway." His smaller brother pleaded with him. "Please, just a little longer. Swim with me. We can't give up." But the big frog's mind was made up. The fight had left him. With one last, sorrowful look at his brother, he stopped kicking. His body went limp, and he sank silently beneath the surface, disappearing into the white abyss. The small frog was utterly alone. A wave of grief washed over him, so powerful, it almost dragged him under too. His best friend, his brother, was gone. The silence in the bucket was deafening, broken only by his own ragged breaths. For a moment, he felt the same despair that had claimed his brother. What was the point of fighting on, all by himself? But then, something shifted within him. He thought of his brother, of all the adventures they had shared. He couldn't let his brother's memory be one of defeat and surrender. His grief transformed into a fierce resolve. He would not just survive for himself, he would survive for both of them. Fueled by a potent mix of love, sorrow, and pure, unyielding determination, the little frog began to kick with a fury he didn't know he possessed. He stopped thinking about escaping. He stopped thinking about how tired he was. He focused on one thing, and one thing only, the motion. Kick, kick, kick. He churned the milk, his tiny legs a blur of motion. He was a small, green engine of relentless effort. He kicked and kicked as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the farm. The world outside the bucket grew quiet, but inside there was a storm of his own making. And then he felt it. A subtle change. The milk around him didn't feel as liquid anymore. It was getting thicker, harder to move through. Was he imagining it? Was he just getting weaker? No, it was real. The constant churning, his relentless kicking, was having an effect. The creamy milk was beginning to solidify. Little lumps started to form. He kept going, his heart pounding with a new kind of energy hope. He kicked with renewed vigor, and the miracle continued. The lumps grew larger, coalescing. The entire surface of the milk was transforming, turning from a liquid trap into something solid. He was no longer just treading milk. He was creating something. Before his very eyes, he had churned the cream into a thick, solid island of butter. He stopped kicking and rested for a moment on the firm yellow platform he had created from his own struggle. He was exhausted, his body ached, but he was standing on solid ground. He looked up at the rim of the bucket, which now seemed so much closer. Gathering every last ounce of his strength, he crouched down on the butter island. He bent his powerful little legs, a spring coiling with all the grief, love, and fight he had left. And with one final mighty push, he launched himself into the air. He flew over the rim of the bucket and landed softly on the cool, damp grass of the meadow. He was free. He stood there for a long time, the setting sun warming his skin, his little heart full of both sorrow and triumph. He mourned the loss of his brother, a pain that would never fully go away. But he also carried with him a profound lesson learned in the depths of that milky prison. The little frog went on to live a long and full life. He found a mate, had children of his own, and became a wise elder in his community. And he never, ever let his tadpoles forget the story of the two frogs. He taught them about his brother, not as a story of failure, but as a solemn reminder of what happens when hope is lost. And he told them his own story, a testament to the power of perseverance. The lesson of this story is simple, yet it's one of the most powerful we can ever learn. Life will, at times, feel like an impossible struggle. It will put you in situations that feel like a deep bucket with slippery walls, where every effort seems to get you nowhere. You will get tired. You will feel despair. You might even feel like there's no point in trying anymore. In those moments, remember the little frog. Remember that even when you can't see the way out, the simple act of kicking, of trying, of moving forward, of refusing to give up, is not pointless. Your effort is not being wasted. You are not just treading water. You are churning the milk. You are taking the very substance of your struggle and transforming it into something solid. You are creating your own platform, your own solid ground from which you can eventually leap to freedom. Never stop kicking. Never stop trying, because it's in that relentless effort, even when you feel most hopeless, that you find the power to save yourself. That is where hope is truly found. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that inspire and uplift. We all have our own buckets to escape from, and it's always easier when we know we're not alone. Keep kicking, and we'll see you in the next video.